Me either.
months.
Really? You know what? I might be like a wage.
You
an
haven't
hour.
got one?
Hey, listen, that could be a wage an hour claim.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, honey. How are you?
Good, good.
Maybe that's why he got the 240. Like it's a
We
low
get that.
sum.
I'm telling you.
Consider it. I just, you know,
At least 3, 4, 5.
we were trying to find like a spin to keep like some newer blood coming around and stuff. You know?
Maybe you only get paid for when there's a hearing.
Adam and I were talking about trying to figure out a way to.
You know, one of the problems is
We're
it
not
was
getting
never
paid.
announced at the chamber meetings.
Well, no, because we weren't getting support from the
Well, he said he did. I haven't gotten like 6 months.
The only chamber that was really supportive was Abbotsford.
You know what? Hey,
Not that-
Hey,
North
Carlos.
Miami chamber wasn't really supportive.
Because that's why there's no donuts here.
Yeah. So that was one of the.
Chairman Piper, 6:05. Can we start this?
We're gonna use some.
You're such a wuss.
I mean, it's a shame. I mean, it was nice for a while.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah. No, it was. It was.
could we make it no pets?
You can't keep the service animals away, and that was.
That's a service.
It was a psychological support dog. Supposedly.
Supposedly.
Supposedly. Yeah.
Doesn't wear a service anything.
You can buy
You
it
don't.
on
You
the
don't.
internet.
You don't have to.
I mean, there's certain places, especially going into restaurants. I don't mean to be eating and having. It's different if it's really a service.
Right, right.
No, this was not
No,
a
you,
service. I'm
you see
sorry.
that. You see that all the time.
I don't mind a service dog, and you can really tell the
I
difference.
can't eat without my dog. It comforts me. It aids my digestion.
Have I got a girl for you?
Could that be? What could
She
that
doesn't go anywhere without her dog. No, I was big.
Actually, I just, somebody gave me a dog today. I don't know if I want it. A Corgi. Welsh
Corgi?
Corgi.
Corgi.
Pembroke Welsh.
No, thank you. My pets are all in. I'm just saying. I don't want anything that has to be walked or
I
taken to
know,
the
it
vet.
just
or-
showed up in my, now it doesn't, it follows me around the
Of course it
house.
does. That's nice.
The Queen of England has one. My cat's taking it. I thought the guy was kidding. And he said, "Here's your dog."
Hello.
What was it? You don't want to have the meeting? Was there a sign on the office building?
What's that? Oh, I don't know.
And the other thing is usually the crime time.
Well, if they get them off drugs, they'll be better.
I'll tell you, we have to get them off something else. You come to my house and I'll introduce you to 17 bloods.
Where you been lately? I thought you either retired or just said you had enough of the scrap and moved. I thought you and Stephanie Kensel just moved.
I got a list of that Burson and Bird over Fulton.
That would have thrown you over the edge, right?
And so I said, you know, and then Ketley's telling me, well, everyone went over to tell her to come to this meeting.
Right.
I said, you know, just run the office once you go there.
What are you what is this?
That was the announcement that they put out. But it wasn't any place except on the web. It wasn't published at all. None of these
But
people.
I think legally, I'll bring the point up.
See, they drew a line and said, this isn't residential. I know what they did.
But did they? Let me ask a question. Did nobody got notices sent out to their house?
Motion. Throw him off the board, please.
No, they're over there working. They've already been approved. They've been in this building tearing stuff out. And then as soon as they occupy,
Insensitive.
but it's only a half block further than it was before. And they had all kind of problems. Police were running.
Did you ask the attorney if about the meeting? No.
I don't know what anymore.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I'll tell you, I don't buy a house. And I can buy a house and show it without living there. Like the kids do.
Right.
And they deserve the house.
Right.
And I invested in it.
Wow.
Pardon me?
Well, my neighbor, that's mine.
He sleeps with the fishes.
He's tough.
What's the assistant attorney's name?
Set him up.
Sarah.
They killed him.
Yeah.
You got a second? Hey, Rich. Rich.
We get this on our email.
Rich. Rich.
You know, we get
Sarah.
this on our email. We get this email.
This is Richard Reese.
Who's we?
Richard, I got the city attorney here. Listen,
Good.
he's concerned that the meeting might not have
Hey, you
been
want
noticed
it to-
properly, and I want to just kind of clarify that issue. So I wanted just to hear that right now.
How many you have? What do you mean, a dog? Oh, there was another one available?
Yeah, when they dumped those 14.
Didn't you have two?
No, I only ever had one at a time. Why, you have a dog?
Somebody dropped a Welsh Corgi on me today.
Aw.
They only rob rich people.
Sweet.
No. This meeting is the one you're concerned about, right?
Having enough issues with
No.
my masculinity. Look around.
And where I got this is off the internet. There's not a business over there or a resident.
But you don't have
Your neighbors come in?
My neighbors
saying
are
they didn't
doing
post
more work since
I
they
don't
bought
know if they
it
posted
than when it
anything
was
on the
being
building.
built. There's more action. They painted the interior of a brand new house. They took the railing. They're coming and going for 2 weeks. Brazil. They live in Brazil. They'll be there 3 times a year for 2 weeks at a time. They're gonna tear out the landscaping, the brand new landscaping. They want me to put a hedge on my side. They won't finish in exchange for giving me palm trees and everything. So the landscaper came over to negotiate. They got 2 brand new jet skis that have been there for 2 months.
Right.
And they seem very nice. They're very wealthy. Well, this guy, the guy built next door to for himself,
Anything that we ever
and in the middle of construction, decided to put in gables instead of garage.
doesn't make it look like
So and this is after we gave him the variance, and he came up, he before the board, this is my
you don't show that the residents
there was this big deal.
But
They come
this
over-
is just the
And
zoning,
then in
they're
the
not
middle of
showing.
it, and I'm being in front, you know, when I gave for my neighbor, and tapped it in my water for the
there's residents all over here and they come
building.
over these walls. The walls don't
I don't know
stop
why he
anything.
couldn't get
And
the
on top of that,
water.
this man
He
tried
didn't want to, he's building a $3 million house, he wants to pay $500 fee. Anyway, it paid, but it was like every 6 months they had to go away.
Well, that's a code enforcement issue. You know.
Midway through it, there's a sign for sale. And then it finally sold. Right.
Just call code enforcement.
And now they're putting another, I'm waiting for the kitchen. That's my,
Right.
You know what you
No, code enforcement. Code enforcement's gonna make sure that if something's supposed to be done some way, you know, if the,
someday when you have time, take you for a drive and show them the
okay. All right, so I'll bring up the issue when we bring up the item. Just,
They'll make it part of the presentation.
okay, all right, so you tell me, make sure.
Yeah, but this isn't a radius, so it doesn't.
they didn't need publication?
No, I mean, they needed it, what, they needed to publish a notice, they needed to post a notice, but this isn't for radius, so you don't,
Oh, it doesn't matter what
it's
the
showing
rate.
the zoning, this is showing the zoning in the area to show that it can,
Probably aren't any.
it's compatible.
But did they send out notices to the property owners in a certain?
I don't know if they're required to mail on this, I know they are for, if you're rezoning.
Meanwhile, they're building on the
variances.
corner.
That's fine, just ask the planner and let them present it.
There's like no rest for the weary. The good thing is that I haven't had to buy lunch. I just eat off the lunch truck for $1.40.
Be prepared, or just tell me if you're not, that,
I mean, brand, they
the resident brought up an issue,
guy who built
thought
the
that
house
the notice, the meeting wasn't properly noticed.
They're almost finished with the house
That
on your street.
it was only put on the website, but he's saying there was no sign on the property.
Of course there is. It has the council date.
Is there supposed to be notices mailed out to?
Recent?
Anywhere?
Oh, yeah.
Sold the
Okay.
house last year.
Tim Bone.
Yes. Sold the
but now that you brought that issue up, I just want to make sure.
Oh, don't say that.
This sign is there.
Okay,
The
so,
mailings were sent out,
They didn't tear it down.
and the ad was,
And the house
was in the
that
paper,
was
everything's
on
done.
164th, where
when you
33rd
present
Avenue
the
dead
item,
ends,
Yeah.
can you also at the end of your presentation item say, and by the way, since there was, something was brought up about proper service, I just wanted to assure you that it's on the website, it was mailed out. However, I don't know what there, is it a radius that you mail it to?
That's nice. What made it
Mail to the
beautiful?
radius,
The
and
exterior
the
made it
sign
nice?
is on the property.
the exterior, I know, I
What?
went
Just make
in,
sure you
I
mention
went
all
in,
that, hopefully that will just
and
swell that
they
right now.
finally did it. Somebody
Okay.
had done a half-ass
Okay.
job of converting garage, they did it
Thank you,
right.
Cindy. Yeah.
Kitchen, they got rid of the marble in the archway, and it's beautiful.
Just don't mistime it again. You know what I mean?
Hello there. How you doing? Good.
Move your house.
Yeah, for you I will.
Thank you.
Only for you I will.
I gotta tell you a quick story. I got cited for my artificial grass because the people in Eastern Shores, my neighbors, called on me thinking that I was gonna put brick pavers. So I got cited, right? To make a long story short, I went to go see Carlos and I went, hey, look at this. He goes, man, you should see how many people called. And I said, you know what? It's the burn half of Eastern Shores. I got angry, you know? Who the fuck would do that? But anyways, to make a long story short,
Yeah, so
I
what's
provided a certificate.
Right?
That thing drains 28 gallons per.
Oh, really? Oh, it's got,
what's the good? Well, the welfare is for sure.
And Brett passed by my house and he goes, man, I ordered it.
Really?
Yeah. You know how much Brett just made?
Huh?
You know how much Brett
80 million.
87.
Not bad for
He
21
owns
years
it.
old, right? How old is he?
Yeah, he was in the Lamborghini. He's 28. Yeah, I stopped him and I go, hey,
Probably
out of curiosity, I just have one question.
what
What
he
you gonna
paid
do with all the money?
$100,000
He started laughing.
Golden Beach Coast.
He says there's a surprise. He kept the building alive.
He bought the
And
lot.
then he's gonna keep
Oh,
the
it's
building
on a
alive.
dry lot.
But
And
he
you're
got
doing
another
what? How
line,
much is it?
Oh,
but he won't tell me what it
he's
is.
got another car brand going in there? Good. Yeah, because they're going to move into the building. Oh, that's good.
And do you ever eat at Apple Deli by any chance?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you knew this, but Brett owns the gourmet diner and the property.
Oh, really?
And he's moving Apple Deli into
heard
there.
that.
Okay.
And he made, well, he sold his thing up there for 12. Good.
Okay, we all ready? Okay.
The rich.
All right, good evening. Welcome to the City of North Miami Beach Planning and Zoning Board meeting of Monday, May 11th, 2015. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the secretary please call the roll? Here?
Here.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion of the minutes of our previous meeting of Monday, February 9th, 2015? If not, the chair will accept the motion to approve the minutes.
Move to approve.
I
have a
second the
second?
motion.
Perfect. All in favor? Aye. Okay. It's required that anybody who wishes to speak on an agenda item take an oath. So if you're here to speak on the item, I need you to please stand, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. Okay, I say your name. Swear or affirm to tell the truth, the full truth, and nothing but the truth. Okay, thank you. You may be seated. And in addition, anyone speaking at this meeting is required to provide their name and address on the speaker sign-in sheet, and the secretary has that sheet. Also, if you are speaking, try to be as concise and as quick as possible, so I don't have to stop you. So, all right, next is going to be old business. Would the city planner please give us the report?
Certainly, good evening. Under old business, our last two items dealing with the mixed-use districts, the ordinance amending the comprehensive plan and future land use map, and the ordinance amending the zoning and land development code were both approved on second reading on the meeting of Tuesday, March 17th.
Thank you. Okay, well, now for new business. Would the city planner please introduce the first item?
Correct. The first of our two items is the International City Building. The applicant, Roland Faith, representing International City Building LLC, requests site plan approval and conditional use approval for the operation of a 12,655 square foot drug and alcohol non-residential rehabilitation center within an existing office building on a 37,500 square foot lot located at 152 Northwest 168th Street. The applicant has agreed to all conditions, including property-wide improvements, in addition to offering a list of voluntary conditions as listed in your staff report. As mentioned, the address is 152 Northwest 168th Street. This is a conditional use. It's permitted with conditions in the B2 district. It has no variances. It went to TRAD on January 8th. It is before you tonight. It is scheduled for council on June 16th, and it has a future land use category of business.
Okay, thank you. Did you want to speak about the concerns about the noticing of that particular item?
Certainly. The item, as with any public hearing item, has been properly noticed. It was advertised in the paper. The advertisement is in the back of your staff report. It was also posted on the property, and there was a mail out to a radius of 500 feet. A courtesy note is mailed out to a radius of 500 feet of anybody living within a 500-foot radius. It's been posted on site, and it was advertised in the paper.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Would the applicant please come forward and speak on behalf of the application? And please state your name and address for the record.
Yeah, good evening.
You can bring that pull it to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Better. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Roland Faith, 16401 Northeast 32nd Avenue, North Miami Beach.
All right. So you want to explain to us what your about the project, what's happening with it, that kind of thing?
Sure. Just to give you a little bit of history, basically our group has been investing in North Miami Beach for the since 2010. As you can detect from my accent, I'm not from America. And when we came here, we basically settled in this area. We have undergone many foreclosed properties within the city, this being the latest one. This was an office building that basically was not maintained for maybe 3 or 4 years and was caught up in foreclosure. It had a string of violations attached to the building, specifically on the second floor. We decided to invest in this particular case where we were lucky to get a tenant that was willing to take the whole second floor. We were interested in the project, and we spoke and consulted with the zoning board about what we can do and how we can basically ensure that we are in compliant with the city. As has been mentioned, and as is in your report, we have made sure that we try and comply with every single negative aspect that is associated with drug and rehab. And most importantly, we feel that we've covered that, and we're happy to bring this tenant into the city.
Okay. All right. Enough. All right. Thank you. Okay. So
maybe I could add, Mr. Chair, the list of conditions on page 5 of 7 of the staff report.
okay.
And that involves Facility will be fully secured by 24-hour-a-day security, 10 security cameras, full-time monitoring by mental health and certified behavioral technicians, self-contained supervised smoking area. Hours of operation shall be Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4 p.m., Saturday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., closed on Sundays. Transportation to and from the facility provided by 4 12-passenger vans, providing an on-site space for North Miami Beach Police Department substation, and 2 scholarships per month to local families in need of addiction treatment assistance. These are additional voluntary proffer that we have incorporated as conditions of approval.
Okay, thank you. All right, so at this point, I'd like to see if any board members have any questions for the applicant. We'll start with Mr. Mosier. Turn your mic on, yeah.
The people that come here for treatment, are they
I think they're clients.
clients? Are they currently being treated in the area, or are they coming? Is there any kind of geographic area they
Well, currently they're treated in Hollywood. Hollywood.
in Hollywood?
Yeah.
So the draw is from Hollywood.
Well, the facility wants to locate into this area. Basically, the closeness to the 95 and the roads is right next to the location of this building. So the applicant, as such, wants to have the location here.
So it's relocating from Hollywood. Is that it?
Correct. Yes,
It's
to a bigger
It's
location.
an existing facility that's operating currently now in Hollywood
Correct.
that wants to relocate over here.
Correct.
So the new inflow of clients may not necessarily be from Hollywood. They could really be from anywhere.
Okay.
Just the fact that they're there, I mean, they could be from out of state for that matter, I guess.
Okay.
So,
That's correct. Yes.
right, okay.
Do you currently serve clients from this area? You don't know. Okay.
Right, now you're the property owner. You're not the operator of the of the facility, correct? Of the treatment facility.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And is anybody here from the treatment facility?
Well, basically, I'm liaison for both at the moment.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Point out that it's a non-residential facility.
Right.
Right.
That said,
Mhm.
the clients generally would be coming from the surrounding area, not
Right. Not too far. Well, at least
not
they'll-
coming here to stay, like from out of state.
Right. Right.
To go on to that question, to that point, the current residents actually in Dania Beach, so they reside in Dania Beach and they come to this facility for rehab and group sessions.
So is that where are they still? So do they have like a 3/4 way house or some sort of housing facility that is associated with their program? So part of their program is that everybody who attends the program at the facility is actually living together in some other facility in Dania Beach, and
That's
every day
correct.
they're going to be busing them from Dania Beach back and forth. Is that how that works?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Anything else? Good?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, Mr. Smuckler.
There is a fee schedule attachment. And do all these fees apply to this project? It's 3 pages long. And the first section says rezoning application. There's a $500 basic fee. I mean, what is this?
No, the whole thing does not apply. This is just an attachment.
Does everybody have this?
It's
Yeah.
the one that applies.
Land development fee schedule,
Right,
attachment
so
3.
you're hearing today a conditional use application.
Conditional
So that would
use.
be C.
So nothing else in here should be, he's not paying all these fees?
No,
What it
The
is.
menu here.
Oh, okay.
$1,000, it would be C5, applications for a conditional use in
Within
business
residential.
zoning district. And then that's the conditional use, and there's also the site plan review fee. So this is site plan review, and
Mm-hmm.
it's really conditional use. The building exists, there's no proposed. Yes, on
First
that,
page.
that fee schedule, page 6, C5, applications involving uses within several different districts, including all business zoning districts. So that's what this application is, conditional use in a business zoning district.
Okay, all right, thank you. Nothing further.
Okay. Mr. Kreisberg.
What is the name of the facility? You know?
Yes, Holistic Recovery Center.
And this is a 3-story building that you own.
It's a 2-story, well, 3 stories, but 2 stories of actual
Oh,
leasable
first
space.
story is just the
It's-
parking.
yeah, correct.
Anything happening on the 3rd story?
Yes, we have already leased out and already got TCOs for today for doctors and medical tenants.
And they're all aware of the,
They're all aware and they have no issues with it whatsoever.
and the reason that they're using this facility, it's just you're making it newer and better and more economical for them to bus to this particular facility than to use the Hollywood facility.
Yes, for sure. I mean, they're looking for expansion. They currently have about 6,000 square feet. So in their existing location, this one is obviously doubling in size, and they want to give better treatment and better group sessions for their.
So there's going to be group sessions, individual sessions,
Correct,
rooms
yes.
for this, rooms for that,
Yes.
and a building which would also house doctors and dentists.
Yes, on the 3rd floor. Oh, doctors within the
Okay,
the.
but most of all the treatment there is of psychological or nature.
Therapeutic, correct.
There's
yes.
no.
No, the only thing that they would do there is have urine samples that they will do.
All right, Mr. Morero.
I really think that the tenant should have been here.
Well, technically, I am. I'm
You're the tenant and the
yes,
owner?
Correct. Yes.
You're both?
Correct. Yes.
He's
Oh.
representative of.
He's a representative, or you both?
I'm representing them both.
Right. You don't own. You
Which
don't
is sort of a
actually own
conflict of
the-
interest.
I can bring an owner if you like of the building.
But who's the owner of the facility? You're really the landlord, right?
Yes,
Who's the tenant?
tenant is. I'm part owner of the tenant as well.
Oh, okay. All these things, you're going to include them in the lease? All these voluntary conditions?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
Would you like
I
that
hate
as a
to
condition?
interrupt- I hate to interrupt, but the scholarship, how is that going to be evidence to the giving of the 2 scholarships monthly? Is that an agreement with the city, or what's the how is that going to be?
I think we have similar programs in place through our Parks and Rec program. I think we just approved soccer school with a requirement for
So
scholarships.
the city has
So-
some kind
So,
of
well,
oversight.
who's going to administer? Who's going to decide who gets a scholarship? I guess that's the question. Is
Well,
or
I think-
or that it is given.
Yeah, I think we would ask for an annual report or, quarterly report from them, and, if it's not provided, then,
But what's the reach out to the needs in the community?
I think we'll have to further explore that. As I said, I know that some aspects of our city operation through Parks and Rec has experience with these type of scholarships. In this area of providing this particular service, it's not something I think that city staff is directly involved with, but we will find out who is and craft something where it would be like a quarterly or annual reporting. I don't think we would be involved in the choosing of this, just that they are offering this to residents and that they would demonstrate that they.
There's no outpatient
participating.
part of this. They're all residential, and then for treatment, there's nobody who just.
There's
no
the,
residential.
technically,
There's residential somewhere else.
correct.
but for
While they're within our care, they reside in a different place to this location. There is no outpatient. They don't just come in and then leave the next day and go off to their own means. Basically, they put themselves into the rehab after they've been to a detox center, and they're basically trying to pave their ways back into normal society.
Right, but basically it is an outpatient center because the clients are coming for the day and leaving. They're
I
not
understand,
staying
but
over.
there's no, I can't call up and go, I need group therapy for an issue without being part of the other program.
Correct.
Although, I suppose those arrangements could change in future if there was a different residential program elsewhere, or if the program was modified to be able to accept more local residents.
The truth is, when you're treating a patient or a client, or however you want to term it in this forum, you want to make sure that they are following the guidelines of getting themselves back. They're in there for a reason. They have an addictive personality. So if they're coming in and going home, you haven't succeeded in anything. So you've got to contain them, bring them together. We have group sessions. We take them out to for example, they have team building exercises. They a lot of activities that we cater for and make sure that they get themselves back into this non-addictive lifestyle.
But so this is much in the onset, or much more control at the beginning of the thing. It's not like an Alcoholics Anonymous show up at a
No, it's not.
ongoing treatment.
Correct.
But I think the name holistic says something about where what he just described is rather more than just an office that's open to anybody. This is a more far-reaching program.
Is there a typical day? Does a client come for an hour or 3 hours or 6 hours or?
Well, usually they come from about the opening times. Really about 10 to 3 is the normal times they come. We have a morning session and we have an afternoon session, and obviously a lunch break.
What's the average length of time that somebody's in treatment in this facility?
2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
All right, so before we move on to Mr. Littlewich, just one or two questions. Is are the clients supposed to remain within the building all day, or are they free to come in and out as they wish? How does that part work?
Okay, so basically they're monitored. When they're in our care, they're our responsibility. So we have already, the main reason they go outside is to have a cigarette. That's normally their fix for the day. What we've done and what we've created is a specific smoking area, self-contained area for the building and also for the clients.
That was my next question. But
Right.
But okay, so before we get away from the first question, the first question was that so are the clients, can they just walk in and out as they please all
No,
day?
no.
Or are the doors locked?
Okay,
or
so-
how does that work?
So just going on to Mr. Kreisberg's question earlier, we have 3 floors. The first floor is a parking garage, underneath a parking garage, but also a lobby area where the elevators are. In that lobby area is where the security will be positioned. So basically nobody goes in and out without the security knowing.
Do the staircases spill into that
Correct, yes.
into the elevator lobby?
Yes.
So there's no staircases that are outside of the elevator lobby?
Well, there is one that's outside, but that's monitored with the cameras and everything. So the security is specifically there to ensure that we're protecting. We don't want these patients to run away.
And how are they fed? Are they food brought in to them, or?
Oh, yes. Food's brought into them. They also, within their program, we give them their own budget where they go to Publix and they can buy their own food because they have the residence.
I guess the question is that at lunchtime, are they leaving to go to lunch?
No, lunch is brought in. Lunch is already...
So they're not going to leave the facility?
They're not going to go to Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's to get
So the way I'm hearing it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but so the bus brings them there in the morning, right to the front door.
Yep.
They get out of the bus, they go into the elevator lobby, up the elevator to the facility where they stay all day long until it's time to go home. When they go home, they come back down, right back into their buses and go. There at no time will they ever be walking around the neighborhood or walking around the parking lot or walking around anywhere.
Not supervised, correct.
Okay. All right. Now share with me a little bit about the the smoking
where is that?
situation and where that area is going to be and how that's working.
On the front page here, plan,
Uh-huh.
this rectangular area, base of the parking.
You see? Where is that?
Where it says planters,
Yeah. Is
And-
that is that where the number 8 is?
number 8 is
Over the ledges over here.
Right.
smoking area and 2 park benches.
Okay.
And that's at a scheduled time, or?
Right. So the thing is that all right. So this area is clearly outside of the building in the parking lot.
Correct.
So how does that work? Are they going to just come downstairs, come outside, tell the guard we're going to have a smoke, and they just go out there and then roam around the neighborhood?
Okay,
Or
so
how does that work?
so the idea is that we have helpers in and techs working with them during the day. So they will normally come down with them, and they will be in the smoking area with them. The guard is only like a secondary precaution, like, hey, what are you doing here without the tech?
Uh-huh.
So they're always closely supervised.
Okay. So there will not be any unattended clients at any time
Anytime.
in the smoking area.
Anytime.
Okay. All right. All right. So, Mr. Littlewich.
First of all, I want to let you know that I do agree with Mr. Marrero. The principal of the Holistic Center should have been here. And if we have future meetings, perhaps you will ask them to attend.
Sure.
The scholarships that are mentioned, are they going to be directed to established North Miami Beach residents? And the reason I ask is you're asking us to allow this facility here within the jurisdiction of our municipality. Will those scholarships be directed to those who live and pay taxes here in our municipality?
That's what we've offered to the city, yes.
I mean, it really does us no good if somebody from Southwest Dade gets the scholarship.
No. The voluntary condition that we're putting in is for the city. So it's for
And
you
not,
to do.
not a resident that just moved in here last week, but somebody who's established. Is that correct?
Correct. I'm sure if we work with a local community, there's a lot of issues with kids that have drug or alcohol abuse, and they can't afford to put them into these sort of cares. We're happy to throw that into the city and governed whichever way the board pleases it for it to be governed.
For our people, our
For
residents.
your people, your residents.
Okay.
And that's...
Who are the principals of this holistic center, please?
Okay, so...
In addition to yourself.
Okay, so there's two other principals. Adam Adler and
I'm sorry, Adam.
Adler and Daniel Schiff.
Do they own any other facilities, or do they operate any
Have
other
an existing
facilities?
facility now.
Which one is that?
The one in Hollywood.
The one in Hollywood. Holistic.
No,
what's it called?
no, here in North Miami Beach. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
They only own one. Both of them are only involved in that one other facility in Hollywood.
The company's only involved with one other facility.
Okay, Adam Adler and Daniel.
Schiff.
Have they ever been before our board before that you know of?
Not that I know of.
Am I missing a page?
The one door that is that empties outside of the lobby, the one emergency stairway. Will the door to that stairway be on an alarm?
No, it'll be under security surveillance.
Could it be put on an alarm?
If that is something that's requested, yes.
You could put a DTEX type lock on there.
That's exactly what I mean. Yes.
But
Yeah.
the only thing is that if it's something where the other tenants are going to want to be using it as some sort of amenity.
Well, maybe the
They won't
third
be
floor doesn't need to be on the alarm, but just the second floor where this facility is could be on the DTEX.
Oh, well, that's a possibility too. Not actually the door at the ground level, but the door
No, the door from the
facility
from the
to
second floor to
right.
that stairway.
Yeah.
Does that make
that's-
sense?
That would be a good
yes,
idea.
that makes sense.
I would.
That is something we can do.
And could it be possible that the smoking area could be moved closer to the building?
Well, I think when we created where the position would be, we were thinking of fire and safety. The fire being under the building, and we didn't want it to be that much closer. But that's something that we can review if you have suggestions.
Well, if somebody wants to smoke when it's raining, which is a good portion of our day here in South Florida, especially in the summer, so they're not going to be using that. They are going to be standing under the building in the parking area smoking cigarettes, right?
The smoking area is located under the building.
It is under the.
I'm sorry, I see the line now. Thank you. I'm sorry.
These are the columns.
And may I add, as far away from the street as possible. So it's really to the interior of the property.
I see it now. Thank you.
But it's under the garage.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
This is
Mr.
not
Lynn.
the lobby.
None of the exit doors from the stairways are accessible from the outside. You can't get into them.
You can't get into them.
Okay. I agree that scholarships should be for the dedicated to North Miami Beach residents. You say you have a 2-week program. Are there other programs?
No, I think the question that Mr. Piper raised was what was the average span of the clients. The average is 2 weeks. Some people can come in for. It's not a set time. You're free to choose when you want to come and go. The truth of the matter is when the clients come into the center, we believe a 2-week period is enough to get them back into society and not craving to just get out and relapse again.
What percentage of your clients are court ordered to the facility?
None.
None.
These are voluntary. It's on your insurance plans.
And then how do you advertise for your clients? How do you get your clients?
We're just on web marketing.
No.
On the websites.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So, oh, I see.
The only other thing that I can see is as a building owner,
Yeah. Right.
I see you're putting metal halide lighting in the parking lot. And in today's world, everybody's changing to LED. And that would be my recommendation is, save a little electricity and go with the LED. You'll get the same effect out of it.
Thank you for that. Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
I just had a question. Where did you see the metal halide comment? Because I saw LEDs. Did you see LEDs? Yeah. I see LED.
Okay. Well, I think
Potato.
right. I think we got the point. So
Yeah, they are LED. I've just been told by the architect they are LED.
Okay.
So if I
What is
understand,
LED?
I have another question.
Could I-
It's an existing shell, basically, and you're building out the second floor, right?
We've built out the second and the third floor
Mm-hmm.
as a landlord, but for this particular project, this is for the second floor.
Right. We don't have plans here for the third floor. It's another tenant or
Yeah, every other tenant is within the permitted use.
permitted use.
This is a special
Okay.
usage that we're coming for.
okay. So
I just wanted to point out, Mr. Chair, on the issue of the lights, on page 4 of 7, the police conditions is they need to provide the police department with a photometric plan, so we can, in the process, work with them and police to make sure that the lighting is appropriate.
Okay. I think it's already calling for LED anyway, so I
Right.
think it's okay.
Besides that,
Oh, okay. So there was a conflict in the plans. Okay.
right, but wasn't there also a statement that the hours were during daylight hours? Are there nighttime hours here? I thought we said till 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock or.
Mr. Moshe, the building itself lends itself to various tenants. The
Alright.
specific tenant is during daylight hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Was anything else from the board at the moment, or everyone's good? Okay. So, as far as these additional conditions, let me just one thing I just want to make sure is if we were going to add another condition, prior or down the road here. If we said something about putting an alarmed panic system on the door from the, what is it, this facility is on the second floor?
Correct, yeah, second floor.
So on the second floor door to the stairwell, that would be okay with you?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So if that condition got added, that would probably be not really a voluntary condition. That would be one of the other conditions that would not be voluntary. I just want to have that clarified later on. So, yes.
Mr. Piper, as long as that's, as far as we're concerned, I'm saying yes. I'm just thinking about it while you're, as a landlord, as a tenant, I have no issues, but as a landlord, obviously I have to make sure that I comply with the fire code and everything.
Right. Well, no, and that's why, and obviously it has to be code compliant. The reason why I was saying that it was a panic alarm, I assume that it has to be panic hardware on a door like that. But, with a detect system or something like that, you can actually have those doors where when you won't get prevented from leaving, but when you do leave, an alarm will go off.
Yeah.
So kind of like they have in the back door of a restaurant or something like that, or a retail store, so that people know when they're running away with things, checks or
No,
stolen
it's a great idea and something that we would be happy to do.
Yeah, and I think your architect will probably agree that that's code compliant, and I think Mr. Mosier probably will agree with that too. And at the end of the day, it's the building department here that has to agree, not us. So, okay. And on the security camera system, who is going to be monitoring this system?
Okay, so the security officers downstairs.
Okay, so there's going to be the security guard that's going to be downstairs. Is he going to be there 24/7, or is he just going to be there during certain hours?
No, as stated in the voluntary conditions, 24 hours a day. It won't be the same security guard, obviously.
I understand that. Okay. All right. Well, it says 24-hour-a-day security and 10 security cameras. Doesn't really specify that the 24-hour-a-day security is security guards. But it is security guards. So there will be a security guard on premise 24 hours a day.
Yes.
There's an alcove indicated, security alcove, which I guess, is that going to be a desk there? Is that it?
Yeah, there'll be a desk there, and then in the evening they'll be patrolled most probably once all the tenants have left via either a golf cart or something like that.
Okay. And the 10 cameras are going to be monitoring the public spaces, not the tenant spaces?
No, the tenant space. The ingress and egress of the actual, this client, this application. So in truth, it'll be like stairwell of the second floor, outside of the area where the fire exits are, ins and outs of the lobby area, elevator, just to protect who's coming in and out of the facility.
Right.
Not of the building. So we're not going to put it on the third floor.
But
Right, no. But when I say the common element areas, I'm talking about the parking lots, the stairwells, things like that, not the office spaces per se, and not the inside of this facility.
Correct.
So the cameras will not be on the inside of the facility. They're going to be on the other spaces of the building that are not either on the second or third floor tenant spaces.
Well, when you say not in the inside, I mean there will be in the inside of the second
inside of the
floor.
Stairwell. But
yeah, but also on the second floor of the elevator area as well of the tenant.
But I guess theoretically, the elevator vestibule area
goes straight
is a public space.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is, but it's just it feeds one tenant.
Right.
There is no other tenant on that floor.
I understand. Okay.
Will it be
so
the parking lot
they would really be lost if anybody's walking in.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did you say the parking area as well will be monitored?
Yes.
And that camera system is going to be, the monitors for that will be with the security guard.
In the security alcove, yeah.
And the security guard is only going to be sitting at the desk. He's not going to be a roving guard.
No. In the evenings, yes.
Okay.
After hours, yes. But during this operation, he will be, and during daylight hours, he'll be sitting in the alcove.
Okay.
He or she.
Okay. All right. Okay, and then this, tell me a little bit about the police department substation. What's that about?
From our history of trying to get special use, and again speaking to zoning departments of other cities, and particularly in this city as well, we have said that, listen, we are more than happy, because we have the space and we have the ability to, we're more than happy to offer that to the police department. And that was something at the TRAD meeting that was discussed with the police representative, and he felt that it would be something that he would pass on to his team.
Okay. Is that space depicted in the plans here?
No, because we haven't. We're offering it.
Where would that space be? Would it be within the second and third floor? Would it be somewhere in the bottom floor elevator vestibule area? Like where would that? You have any idea about that? You haven't really thought that through.
We haven't been in discussion with them since. I believe we had to come to this meeting, and then pending your approval, we would then go in discussion with them.
Okay. All right. Okay. And then as far as the scholarship situation, the only thing that I think that these voluntary conditions are, it's very nice that they're being offered, and I think it's a nice enhancement and all that kind of thing. The only concern that I have, and that I've kind of seen in the past, is generally at the end of the day, if no one really seems to care about them, then they kind of like go away. So even if the offer is made for the scholarships, if nobody is actually going to like become accountable for that program, then no one's going to ask you for the scholarships. So I guess really it comes, I guess that really kind of falls onto the city's shoulders at that point, if they're going to actually take advantage of the scholarships.
I will discuss it with the chief of police, but I'm thinking that these scholarships could be handled or recommended through the police department, per situations that they see or families in need in the community, that they could, submit these candidates to the center for consideration.
Right. Okay. I think that's a very good idea. Right. Yeah. No. I mean, as long as it is administered in some way.
Yeah, I'm thinking if it's administered in conjunction with the police department, we would have a continuous a flow of possibilities of possible candidates.
Right. Right. Or if there's maybe some sort of one of the other city boards that would deal with something like that, that would actually make that one of their agenda items that they're going to actually look at each meeting, then it might potentially be carried through more so than if you leave it in a staff person's hands that, they change jobs or whatever. And
there may be a public records issue. We're talking about private medical data.
Uh-huh.
So to have that openly discussed at a public meeting.
Well, it's more a matter of making sure that it happens, not as much as the name of it.
Understood. What I think we can do for the council meeting prior to that, if this board recommends approval, is we'll just flesh out the language a little bit to include maybe the police department. We'll work with the different departments and include some language about how it's going to be managed and reported back to the city. We'll see if there's any other way we can tie it in, because conditional use approvals are subject to review, I think annually. So we'll tie that into it to make sure.
I think what I'd like to see is by the time that this goes to the council, that there's something that the council could see where there's accountability. Absolutely. That it's not just, I know that they're earnest words coming from the applicant and that they mean what they're saying, but that if there's going to be some accountability, that there is a plan in place so that when the council looks at it, they know that this is real and not just a nice gesture.
We'll, the planner and myself will speak with the different departments to see who would manage it and add that language in there.
Okay.
I think the onus is on the city and not the applicant. He's offered a perk, and it would be short-sighted for the city not to take. If somebody offers you something for free, it's always a good thing to take it.
Mr. Kreisberg, that's my concern, is that the city actually carries through and has a plan in place to actually take advantage of the
Well-
offer. Because if the city doesn't take advantage of the offer, then it won't happen.
I don't think that that's that we should hold that against the applicant.
We're not holding it against the applicant. I'm just asking that,
Well-
I'm just asking that the staff actually just comes, when they bring this to the council, that they actually have a little bit more of an accountability plan that goes along with it, that's all.
Agreed.
So, okay, perfect. All right, so if there's nothing else from the board at the moment, I'd like to see if there's anyone wishing to speak in favor of or in opposition to this application to please come forward. And please state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, everybody. Muriel Kemp, 1479 Northeast 178th Street, North Miami Beach. Okay, we've kind of gone through this with a few other things over the years. I've got a couple questions here, and I will be concise, really. It mentioned that they're going to be brought in 4 12-passenger vans. Is that just one round trip a day? That's a total of 48 people total? Is that the max?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, and they're all living in one specific place now, in one neighborhood?
Not that many, but they will
How
be.
About how many are there now?
Well, currently we're half the size that we're going to be, so there's
Mhm.
only 20.
So there's only 20. So the place that they're going for their meetings and things will not hold 48.
Correct. That's why they're moving to the
Okay.
city.
Are these men and women, adults and children?
Yes, they are. No children. Everyone over the age of 18.
Okay.
Don't know if you count.
So when we were talking about Parks and Rec, that's pretty much our children's departments. This is not something we'd be able to run through that. We're talking adults here. I think we were mixing apples.
I think Parks and Rec does handle some adult programs. I think they got actually several adult programs, but I think ultimately when they come back to the council, they're going to come back to the council with a better plan, with a better accountability plan. So, and by the way, just huh? Well, for the scholarship part, but yeah, basically the scholarship we're talking about. But what I did want to mention too is you mentioned before that there was something about 2 shifts. Is that correct? Did you say that there was going to be like a morning shift and an afternoon shift? I just want to clarify that so that
There's a morning schedule and there's an afternoon schedule.
But the clients are going to be coming in the morning and leaving in the afternoon. There's not going to be a midday shift where there's a second set of clients coming in.
Same clients that come for the day.
Okay, and the residential facility that you have in Dania Beach, do they have the capacity to hold the 48 clients?
Yes.
Okay.
Currently,
I want to give you more clarification. Just
No, I'm good with that because I'm
Okay.
wondering why people would want to travel that far rather than just finding someplace a little bit closer to their own neighborhood. That's a long schlep from Dania Beach here and then back. I'm sorry, there's a lot of good space in between. Is this for drug and alcohol addicted people both?
Yes.
And they're being treated together?
Yes.
And none of this is court ordered?
None.
It's all voluntary?
Yes, all voluntary.
Okay, and it's only a 2-week program?
No, I didn't say a 2-week program.
You said?
I said that the average time is normally 2 weeks. There is no set time. They can come and go as they please within. It is a voluntary program for people to enter.
Okay.
Excuse me one second. By the way, while we're on that item, you had mentioned before that I had asked a question about how long it was and asked about the 2 weeks. If just for the record, so the minutes are correct and everything, I didn't ask that question.
I asked the question.
Yeah, it was
So
asked.
blame it on him. But no, I just.
I heard it. I heard it.
I didn't want the minutes to come and be incorrect later and have to go through this discussion next time. So
Apologies.
Okay. All right.
Okay, another question. It was brought up that this is being paid for by insurance.
Yes.
None of the people are coming in paying privately.
No.
Okay, approximately what is the program cost? Because that would equal what a scholarship would cost, or be in value of. How much is the program cost?
The day rate technically is about $500 a person.
A day.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not breaking my own anonymity, but I will tell you that most insurances really prefer a 12-step because it was brought up that this is not a 12-step. And really, the rate of recovery in this country, and has been for many, many years, is that a 12-step based program is the best way to go. The holistic is fine, but again, this is all voluntary. Are the people who are running, and again, the reason I'm going to say this is because in the past 2 years, there have been several recovery houses in my own neighborhood, okay? And the city tried to close them, and we did a whole lot. The only way we finally got them closed was to bring the media in and the television cameras. And these were people that were picked up in the morning and taken places and then brought back in the evening. And unfortunately, there were problems. And I'm totally not against rehab. I think everything is wonderful, but it depends on where. And this is a voluntary. I really think somebody needs to check maybe to see how those people are in the area that they're in now and make sure that there's been no problems in that area. I don't think that's asking too much to see where they're coming from. And that's why my last question really is, are the people who are in charge and running this, are these people who are in recovery?
Okay, so the question is, are these people in recovery?
Absolutely.
No.
No.
Are you saying, you're asking if the owners or the operators of...
Well, not the owner, the people that are running the sessions, the people that are helping people.
You mean the therapists?
Yeah, whoever's in charge. You know, we came to get and we stayed to give, but I mean, it's kind of nice if somebody's got a recovery background to be able to be helping people find recovery.
But if they're
Thank you
if they're,
for
if they're healthcare professionals, then I don't know that.
No, thank you for clarifying. I believe she was talking about the principals. So
No.
no,
I wasn't.
that's why I was answering the answer.
Absolutely not.
Sorry,
No,
I misunderstood.
I was talking
But
about
no,
the people
the
running-
therapist,
no.
the therapist, everybody has their own history. We don't
Mhm.
question it. We don't, but we know they're well equipped. They have a professional background. We have a great success rate. The reason of the location is because we're right next to a hospital. That's one of the reasons we wanted this place. It's right opposite the.
Why?
Thank you.
Why would you, I'm sorry, why would that be a good place?
It's just a mindset for people. When you go to get help, you believe you go to a hospital or something. So when you're close and you believe you're getting help, it's just, remember, holistic is all about mind over matter. Drugs and abusive substance are normally over mind over matter. You don't choose to do it.
No,
it's something that happens. And we just believe that location would be great for it.
Okay, are there going to be any drugs on the premises?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak on this? Name and address for the record, please.
My name's Richard Reese. I live at 23 Northwest 169th Street, within a walk and a jump over a wall from this place. I've lived there for 49 years. When I moved there to Ulita, it was mostly Jewish and Italian older people, and I liked it because I was young. They left and went to Aventura and went to all these other places, and Ulita today is almost unrecognizable. It's been a real sore spot. We've had a drug clinic over there already, and if any of you know where the radio station is there for the Haitians, that's where it was, and we were given these stories and a lot more about this. But fortunately, our police department came through and wouldn't support it because they even operated illegally for some time, but they claimed that's why they had all those bars across there. They said they couldn't get out, and they had all this security. Well, guess what? All the businesses around there got robbed. Right now, they got robberies going on over there. I went around just because I just found out about this meeting, and that was my first complaint, that there's no notice anymore. To not call that a residential area is insane. It is a residential area, and it's full of kids. That's why I stayed, because I care about those kids. And if you saw what they're having to go through, then you understand some of the anger that's going on all around this country. The police department, and we got support from Linda. She's the one that really stopped the other one. She said, no, that's enough. I'm sending police down there all the time, and we got every promise this man's made and then some. So, but I can tell you right now, Parkway, all the promises that go on, they don't mean anything. Parkway, when they built that wall, it was supposed to be like Eastern Shores. was supposed to be irrigated, it was supposed to have plants. Never was finished on, even, they didn't even get the irrigation started. And I've had kids mowing down at the end of my street because they don't even take care of that. And when they have their vans in, they throw over, you can jump over that wall. And I'm 72, and I'll show you, I can go over it. So those walls are no separation. Ulita is full of these living facility places. And yes, we have problems there. We have problems with gangs. In fact, Ulita is one of the most dangerous areas to live in. And it's a bunch of really depressed people. I got gangs all around me. And I know what I'm talking about. They're not bad people. But sometimes the way they get treated, you know, drugs is just a given. You're just, I walked around to the businesses over there. It wasn't just me that didn't know. They said, how's this possible? They didn't get any notices. And I knew what they were going to say. They were going to say, was there a sign on the building? I never noticed it until today. I really didn't. So if you think people drive around looking to see if there's a notice for a drug rehab place, and yes, I've had members of my family that have had problems with this, and I've heard of this holistic thing. None of them believe in that.
You're getting a little short on time, so just
They
to give
believe
you.
in sponsors. Well, I'm the only person here from Ulita. If you care anything about the racial intonations here, if you look at all the places this has been refused, if you improve it in Ulita, you're sending a message that it's okay down there. It's a different part of the city. But I think you were wrong in not noticing it the right way so that these people knew you'd fill this room. They were already fed up. They got drugs on every corner. Now all we need some more outside stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak in favor of or in opposition to this application? Please come forward. Let the record reflect that no one else has come forward. Does the applicant have any additional rebuttal remarks or anything that you might want to add at this point along the way?
I just want to make sure that, for the record, everyone understands this is not a drug centre. This is a rehab centre. No drugs are brought forward or in and out of our centre. This is a clean-up area. If there is problems in the city that people know about, let them come forward and tell us about what the community are doing to try and tackle that. And as we've stated, we're more than happy to have people come to ours free of charge if they are in this city. So we can only start cleaning it up if we have these sort of centres.
Okay. All right. At this point, is there any more discussion from the board?
Just a question. What's the credentials of the therapists? Are they licensed?
Yeah, everyone's licensed.
Okay. And what does the license say? I mean, what are they?
Well, I mean, everyone has to go for, go through their certifications and have a placard, like any profession. So that's what I will tell you.
Okay. All right. I guess at this point,
Are you aware of any other cities that Mr. Adler and Mr. Schiff may have applied to for a facility such as this in the past?
They
this
haven't.
Is the first time?
They haven't, and this is the only one.
Thank you very much.
okay. So could the city planner give us the city's recommendation and comments on this item?
Certainly. The Planning and Zoning Department has reviewed this application, and we recommend approval of this condition and use, subject to the conditions listed on your staff report, their voluntary conditions, and the additional conditions suggested by this group, which reads second floor door to stairs to be suited with an alarm. So we recommend approval with all of the conditions, including the one that was suggested this evening.
Okay, great. Okay, so the only thing that I just would like to add before I ask for a motion would be if there's just some way that we can make sure that prior to the council looking at this, that on the additional voluntary condition, which is number 17, that's clarified, showing that it's going to have security guard or a security guard there 24 hours a day. and 7 days a week, but mainly about the guard thing, because it doesn't specify guard there. And that also that the security cameras are going to be monitored by the guard at the on-site security station. So I just want to make sure that item is very clear. And the other thing was, the alarm panic, that's already
Correct,
one of
yes.
the conditions that's already added in there about the alarmed.
The management of the scholarship program.
Right, and then the other thing was management of the scholarship program.
Which the assistant city attorney and I will come up with a plan to manage it and
Okay.
the proper language.
All right, and then also the possibility of a little bit more detail as to the police substation, because at the end of the day, the police department might have no interest in that. Just the fact of just trying to man it, they've got so few officers to begin with. Trying to leave, another officer in a substation and not on the road may be an issue. But whatever that situation may be, just maybe that there could just be a little more
Yes.
clarification on that.
And I will update you all with all the revisions to the conditions. You'll all get copies of them.
The other thing also that I think might be a good thing for the council to see as well is maybe a police incident history report from the existing city that they're in. So if they can show that their existing facility is operating without incident where they are, that would be very compelling to anybody as far as, so basically I could see where if there was a checkered past in Hollywood, then that might be something that the city might want to look differently at based on if there's a clean past.
I will make that another condition from this group.
Good, yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna make the condition is gonna be what? How's that gonna work? I don't know if it's gonna be a condition. I don't know if it's really a condition or if it's just
Give the council
right. I don't know that you really
we-
can make it a condition. I think it's just gonna be like a suggestion on the record to make sure that the city staff brings that to the council for the next meeting. So
Okay.
anything else from the board?
What's the location of the present facility?
You know the address of the facility, or a basic where it is, like what street, what avenue, or
Davy Road Extension,
What's the actual name of the operating facility?
Holistic Recovery Centre.
Holistic Recovery Center.
Sorry, what?
Davy Road Extension
Where?
is the road it's on.
Davy Road Extension.
Okay.
okay.
I'm happy to provide it to the zoning.
Right. I think that when it comes to the council, that will, because ultimately we're just an advisory board to the council. What we do is just make a recommendation to the council, but ultimately the council is going to be making their own decision on if this moves forward or doesn't move forward. So no matter what our recommendation is, it's really the council that is going to really decide what's happening with it. So my suggestion is just to make sure that the council doesn't, who knows what can happen with the council, but to lessen the chances of the council tabling it, if you have that information, I think that would help them make a decision better one way or the other. So,
Thank you.
okay. All right, and nothing else?
Well, I would just like to say it sounds like it'd be a great addition to the city, and
Thank you very much.
bringing it here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I guess one other thing is that all the conditions that we've spoken about thus far, can the applicant accept all those conditions?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. We just need that for the record. We know the answer, but we just need that for the record. Okay, so if there's no further board discussion, would someone like to make a motion? on
I
this item?
move for approval of item 15-001, conditional use approval, with all of the conditions stated on the staff report and the voluntary conditions, as well as the additional conditions that the board has discussed and which the staff has agreed to.
Okay.
And the applicant has agreed to.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay. All right, could we get a roll call, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, thanks. All right.
Thank you very much.
If you want to come pick up your plans,
Sure.
so you can have them for the council. So,
Is there photographs too in here?
Yeah.
Survey. Oh, here it is.
Well, it clarifies some things.
We just got one small item here. We got one small item.
I would love to see them. Good luck. South African? Oh, British. Got that wrong. Okay.
I had a complaint about the number of, I think,
Unless the record.
just say for the record, you have to leave.
I said there were more Smith signs.
Just for the record, I have to leave. Thank you.
Should that be a vote? If we're going to let him leave or not?
10%.
All in favor? All in favor? Okay. All right.
Thank you, man.
He had to go.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna go look at this. It's right near my office.
Would the city planner introduce the next item?
Certainly. Our second item for the evening, which I would like to point out, was identified by the assistant city planners as a potential problem for us. It's an amendment to section 24-147.2 C and E, special event signs and banner signs. Currently, the section of the Code of Zoning Ordinances regulating special event and banner signs includes a requirement for a $200 cash bond and lacks some clarity regarding the frequency and number of signs allowed. In our ongoing efforts to improve our customer experience, the Planning and Zoning Department has identified the bond requirement as both a financial burden for the applicant and an administrative burden for the city, when there are mechanisms in place already to ensure the timely removal of a banner through our core compliance department. This amendment will also clarify the number of banner signs allowed per street frontage and increase the frequency from 2 times per year to 3 times per year in order to better respond to the needs of the business community. We ask the opportunity to bring this amendment through the public hearing process in order to improve our level of customer service while increasing the efficiency of the Planning and Zoning Department.
All right, so could you, in just basic English, tell us basically
certainly.
what we're doing
Yeah.
here?
As I read, our banners require a $200 bond. We figure that at the time that a business requires or needs a banner, it's usually when they're opening up. It's a grand opening. So the money is a burden that they don't need to have. And then on our side, the paperwork to receive this money and then return it at the end is tremendous. The paperwork and the time, it comes through us, then it goes to the finance department, then it gets deposited, then it needs to get withdrawn.
Never
and
gets returned
again.
anyway.
Yeah. So it's a lot of paperwork that is unnecessary. And again, we feel that at the time that a business owner is seeking to have a banner, it's because they're opening up, and during the time that they're getting their sign made. So we think it's a burden. Also, there was lack of clarity in the ordinance as to it said you could have 3 banners on one facade, but it was not clear. It was open to interpretation. This clarifies it to 1 banner per facade, and we increased it to 3 times a year from 2 in case somebody wants to have a spring sale or some other special event that they would require. It's best to have it 3 times. And then 2, we have found the feedback from the business community is that twice a year is not enough for them to be able to carry out their special events or signage. So we are seeking to amend this through resolution, and you are our first stop in our attempt to streamline our business.
Okay, great. So I guess you're speaking on behalf of the city in this case.
That is correct. We're bringing forward this item, yes.
Okay. All right, so anything from any of the board members on this? Start with Mr. Lynn this time.
Carlos, the what prevents the business owner from not taking down their banner when the time is up, when they've reached their 60 days or whatever? They're supposed to. So now the city will go around like they do with all the election signs, and the city will pay employees.
We already do. We already do.
It's a code enforcement thing, I would
yes.
suspect.
Code enforcement.
Right.
We give code enforcement a report of the banners that are supposed to come down on a monthly basis, and they go and do it. They do it because they have to do it and because code tells them. The bond is not the carrot that they need to remove it. They do it on their own.
I think they're relatively diligent about those banners too, from the complaints I've heard from other business owners. So.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Littlewich.
Business owners is one thing, but how would this impact the events like when there's a particular DJ in town and we drive down the street and we see hundreds of flyers stapled to light poles concrete columns?
It's illegal.
Okay.
Yeah, it's illegal, yes. No, the banner has to be
Will this
attached.
wording impact that at all?
No. The banners have to be attached to the facade of the building. They need to provide a sketch indicating the location of the banner. That is part of the special sign.
These are only temporary banners we're talking
correct,
about.
yes.
This is not signage.
Right. As you know, and I would guess a percentage of the banners that go up forget to come in and apply for their temporary banner permit. By eliminating this bond requirement, it makes it much simpler, and we would expect to see the compliance rate to go up.
So if they don't pay it beforehand, it's 100, and if they pay it beforehand, the fee's 50.
Sorry, just to clarify, there is an after-the-fact fee for it. It's usually $50 along with the $50 permit fee. So in total, it'll be 100, and then 200 the banner bond.
But the banner bond's gone.
Well, yeah.
The fee is what exists now.
Right. So this will amend it to only be that whoever applies would be a $50 permit fee. And if the case of that isn't after the fact because we receive a notice from code compliance saying, hey, they already have their banner up, that would generate the after the fact fee. And it would normally be 60 days for a special event banner permit. And if it's a regular bond, banner permit that just says the name of the location of the business, that's 90 days.
What percentage of people just put their banners up and worry about it after the fact?
It's actually relatively low because our staff, I'm mostly involved with the banner bonds as well as the other assistant planner, Kimberly. And we normally see that they do usually comply. And it's very few that we get every now and then that code to say, hey, or they give them a warning, and then they usually come to the department. And that's how we'll adjust, as far as the after the fact fee.
Is there a definition of banner?
Yeah. Yes. In our definitions in our zoning code. Yeah. What it distinguishes is a special event sign is usually where it says grand opening, that case, whereas no, it's not permitted city.
By the way, Giselle is the one that identified this problem because she's the one that handles them. And then Kimberly prepared the language for the ordinance, so they've been a great team in achieving this.
Okay, Mr. Kreisberg, I guess your time's up for that. And,
Thank you for
You're not
interrupting.
going to want to, I know you don't want to double dip on this, so we're going to go right to Mr. Smuckler. No, you have something to say? I'm sorry, you have something else to say? Oh, okay, well,
No, I
can
just
everybody have
wanted
a
to
chance?
understand. So, I guess how many of these bonds do you end up not returning? Presently?
Not return, as in not refunding them? As
Right, forfeiting.
for very low, I'll say that. Normally, we're very, our staff is very imminent about once it expires, we usually call the day before, letting you know, hey, your banner is about to expire, you know, give them a 24-hour notice to make sure that no one from code just necessarily shows up there, but lets them know. And then in that case, that's why we usually see a very few percentage of it being forfeited. Most of the time, it's usually refunded back to the applicant.
Okay. And in the event that they were to get, let me see if I got the right nomenclature. In the event they didn't take it down or they didn't get a permit, they get a violation.
Yes, correct.
What
We
does a violation like that normally consist of?
That would be something over through code compliance. I do know that usually we, after we notify code compliance saying, hey, it's been, you know, can you check on this certain location? They usually write us back saying it's been removed, and that's when the refund process, you know, normally starts. Would have to go through procurement, finance department, which is what generates the
I guess
paperwork.
it goes together with not forfeiting a lot of those
Right,
deposits,
yes.
since you're not giving a lot of citations either, it sounds like.
Right,
So this
correct.
is causing you more work in filing and then refunding the deposits and all that.
It's more work than it's worth.
I think I
On a
understood.
weekly
Okay.
basis.
This will
Okay.
streamline the process, make
Right.
it, give our staff additional time to work on more important things,
Right.
and it's also business friendly.
Okay, thank you.
I'm trying to base it off last year. I think it was about 30, more or less.
That's not
30 banners. I wouldn't say more than 40. I would, if anything, I would want to say 30 to 40 banners per year. Mostly. Yes.
Okay, and Mr. Mosier?
So it does make sense to just simplify the process. Now, can we just put a fee on all the election signs on everybody's front lawn? I think we're all sick of those things.
Okay. Is there anyone
Yeah, I know.
wishing to speak in favor of or in opposition to this application? Please come forward.
I questioned it.
Name and address for the record, please.
I'm still Muriel Kemp. You know, I think this is fine, and believe me, if this is the only problem we have in the city, we are really wonderful. But what I'm hearing is we're going to increase this to 3 times a year at 60 days each. That's 180 days, okay? That's almost 6 months out of the year that we're going to allow the banners, which I have no problem. It's nice maybe to see a banner that you didn't know a store open. What I'm a little concerned about, and I'd really like you to take this into consideration, our schools don't have a whole lot of money to spend on our children, okay, thanks to our governor and the powers that be. And there are several schools in our city, around our city, that are allowing the companies to put up the signs on their fences.
Yes.
And these companies pay the schools, and this is extra money that the schools have to buy supplies for our children. Well, I happen to live right near one of the schools. It's where my daughter went many years ago, and I know the principal, and this city told them that they could not put up the signs for our children. And I think we really need to think about that. We're the only school that doesn't do this.
That can't be correct, ma'am.
Isn't the land owned by Dade County?
We were told because it faces our city, we decided they couldn't do it. It's the Reynolds Park School on 15th Avenue. And you know, it's several $1,000s worth of stuff that the kids could have. I'd really like us to think about this. I don't know whether, you know.
My understanding is that the Miami-Dade County School Board or Miami-Dade County Public Schools is exempt from local zoning. I don't believe that the city has the ability to prevent the schools from doing that, and you see that in every other school.
The city did. This
can
did,
look
because
into
I
it.
spoke to the principal and I went to the city, and it came down that we would not allow that at the Reynolds Park. I'm telling you, I wouldn't be standing here. Trust me, I gotta get home for dancing.
Okay, well, listen, here's
Well,
the,
all I'm saying is I think maybe somebody could look into it,
here's
because we're
here's
the only school that
listen,
doesn't do
here's
it.
the easy solution. Since you've got the connection with the school, and now you've got the connection with the assistant city manager, then you can maybe make that happen where you can get that rectified. But you need to be the conduit, otherwise you know what happens here.
Code went and made them take the sign down, so if you'd like to check and find out why, maybe we could change it.
I
We'll
commit
research it.
to checking with the
We will
code
research.
manager on that.
I don't think code has any jurisdiction on Dayton Public Schools.
They did, but they did.
Okay, all right, well, we see the problem.
Okay,
with the-
really, I
that.
mean, it's our kids. It's our
Okay.
future. Thank you very
I'm
much.
glad you brought that up, thank you. Okay, is there anybody else who'd like to speak in favor of or in opposition to this item? Let the record reflect that no one else has come forward. I guess at this point, we've kind of got the city's recommendation,
Yes.
and there's no further board discussion, I take it, so would someone like to make a motion on this item?
I move to approve item 15-006, the new ordinance on signs.
Can we get a second?
Yes.
Okay, can we get a roll call, please?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, other than that, I guess, as far as the next meeting, do you have the date of the next meeting? And can you tell us-
It would be second Monday, June 8th, and you will get notified by me as usual with plenty of time so that you will know.
Is there anything in the pipeline at this point that looks like it's gonna be, that we'll be having a meeting or not?
Project-wise, no.
Yeah.
Perhaps we have ongoing housekeeping items, but project-wise, no.
It probably will be? Okay, great.
Mr. Larber and Mr. Rivero, since you've taken those seats, I've not been paid. What's going on?
We've already discussed it.
You're off. They couldn't pay for the electric view.
Okay,
We'll look into that for you.
okay. And otherwise, I guess, I'd like to get a motion for adjournment. Oh, yeah, thank you very much. I'm glad you mentioned that. Since this is a public meeting, there's an opportunity for anybody in the public who wishes to make any kind of comments. Is there anybody here who'd like to make those comments? Okay, let the record reflect no one's come forward on that. Thank you, Mr. Lynn. And with that being said, can we get a motion for adjournment?
I motion to adjourn the meeting.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you all.